Hello, everybody. Thank you all for waiting patiently for me. Thank you all for waiting patiently for me as I was waiting for the Avs to wrap it up. But yeah, heck of a performance from Nate just tonight. Either way, across the NFL tonight, hold on, let me scoot my mic a little closer to my face. All right, across the NFL tonight, obviously we had Jets, Patriots, Thursday Night Football. Justin Fields just looks absolutely lost, man. There's no other way around it. Wait, what'd you say? All right, Son of Judah and Faded Wolf, great to see you guys. TW4313, what's up? Thank you for joining this edition of Broncos Country tonight, or Denver Broncos tonight, I should call it. I'm going to see how often I can do this because it was really fun last night. So, and Mace doesn't do After Dark anymore. So I am going to take his place. Either way, TW, what's good? Excited to see you in here. Either way, so there's a lot of people that have joined this stream. CTOD Ghost, what is good? And just to let you guys know, I took a shot of Jameson before I did this. I drink like maybe 3 times a year. So this will be a lot of fun. I saw that when he played us in London, he needs to switch positions ASAP. So you guys are talking about Justin Fields, obviously. And the funniest thing about tonight is that the Jets actually did throw him a pass. It was like an incomplete pass, and I saw him like adjust his body. But yeah, he's been a pretty dynamic playmaker, like runner with the football throughout his career. But it's not out of the question, honestly, if he wants to have staying power in the NFL. But honestly, good on him for getting his $20 million a year from our guy Darren Moogie and dipping out of there after this year when he gets cut inevitably after they draft Ty Simpson or Fernando Mendoza at number 1 overall or something like that. I'm kind of surprised he's just been this poor in the NFL. Like, he's had infrastructure, like you saw with the Chicago Bears. Like, I don't know. They did everything they could to help him out. Like, they went out, they got DJ Moore. But then, they kind of did just get the first overall pick and obviously decided to re-roll the dice with Caleb Williams. Hold on. I actually have something really, really funny to show you guys, like, talking about that. Let me see. Let me see if I have this somewhere. Okay. All right. Okay. You guys are going to laugh so hard. Okay. So I used to do like NFL videos. That's how I like started content creation. And you look at the date, you'll notice like all these are like summer 2024. That's when I really started to like really ramp up my YouTube because I was I was unemployed in Las Vegas in my apartment at the time. And yeah, speaking of Mendoza, this QB class is very weak. I wouldn't say that. We have let's revisit this conversation in January because draft season is very volatile and you never know. You could have guys that rise like Burrow rose pretty late in the process. Granted, after they won the Natty, he was the penciled in first overall pick, but Kyler was another late riser. Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, those are guys that crept up boards. So it's easy to say this now in November, but first of all, we have 3 guys that are like locked top 3 picks right now in between Mendoza, Simpson, and then Dante Moore. So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about that. But yeah, let's revisit that conversation in January before we call it week officially. Although I get your thought process because it's probably not, as good as 24 was. It's probably not, as good as the other ones are. But yeah, so either way, we're here to talk about Justin Fields. What did I do? I'm looking for this video. Okay. I made a video called that Justin Fields was like just absolutely awful. Hold on. Okay, it was called Justin Fields is bad. All right. So here are the comments. Here are the comments from this video. I made it. It was called Justin Fields is bad. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. Yeah, this was my apartment in Las Vegas. He's a redshirt sophomore. So the rule for declaring is 3 years out of high school. And he didn't play his redshirt year at UCLA, but he did play last year at Oregon, obviously, and this year. So he's a redshirt sophomore. He's not a true sophomore. He's a redshirt sophomore, which means he is eligible to go to the draft this year. Yeah, either way, I thought this was pretty funny. Like, guys, look at it. This is me saying I made a video called Justin Fields is bad. I said Justin Fields needs to be traded. He can't succeed at an NFL level. most talented in the pocket I've ever seen. His coach this last year was predictable. And yeah, he said 3 years vet. Why his quarterback rating was so high to DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Maybe it says more about DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. So Pickett is better than Fields. I said they're equally dog shit, but Pickett is worse. So you're a Broncos fan. You used to blow corner. Let's see, Pink Hat, dubbed masculine voice. I mean, yeah, dubbed masculine voice, whatever you mean. Okay, somebody tried to say that Caleb Williams against top 25 defenses was 0 for 5, 6 touchdowns. Fields is the guy. Why draft a guy in Williams that has been vocal about not wanting to be a Bear? I mean, this looks pretty silly almost 2 years later. Worst receiving core in the league the past 2 years, even though he had DJ Moore. So yeah, that was just, I thought I would just show that to you guys because that is absolute comedy right now. He's got all the tools otherwise. Like, I don't disagree physically, but the problem with the NFL is that it's more than just be the best athlete on the field, which it is in college. Like, honestly, that's basically what it is. But it's more about timing, you know, how much you can pick up an offense. And Justin Fields is literally probably one of the worst processors I've ever seen, which is unfortunate because he has all the talent in the world if he could actually put it together, but he can't. He could go back to Oregon. Like, he could go back to Oregon, and that's not out of the question, especially in the era of NIL. And there are probably going to be a lot of shitty teams with no infrastructure that are going to be looking for quarterbacks really, really high this upcoming year. But, yeah, no, I get your thought process. Hold on. I'm going to move this up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Behind the scenes, you guys see I do all my stuff on Google Slides. No, I don't care about. I think it looks, yeah. All right. Either way, wait, I'm going to a little bit more this way, a little bit more this way. Perfect. Okay. All right. So that was about Dante Moore, not Fields, to correct you. Oh, okay. I get what you were saying, CTOD ghost, but talking about Dante Moore, like, yeah, he could go back to school. He easily could go back to school. And honestly, but you look at guys like Drew Aller, you look at those guys that should have declared last year that cost themselves millions by not declaring. Like, I'm sorry. A lot of people talk about NIL like it's comparable to NFL money. It isn't. It really isn't. But I get what a lot of people are saying. I'm excited for Archie to get to the NFL. There'll probably be another year in college, but that'll be fun. Yeah, me too. And, the Archie slander was just ludicrous to me this past year. Let's not crown guys just because they share a Hall of Fame last name. Justin Fields defenders were always hilarious. Yeah, they were. They were Son of Judah. Yeah, I remember in the draft when the Broncos fans were almost excited to get Fields when the Broncos were supposedly targeting him. Dude, I remember when we drafted Surtain, me and all my friends, we literally fell over because we were so bummed that we didn't get him. And, man, look how that's turned out. That's been just absolutely crazy to see. I never thought he would fizzle out this hard. I never thought that he would get this many chances in the NFL if he, wasn't succeeding or whatever. But, yeah. It's okay. I used to be a Fields believer. He's so cooked. Dude, I used to be a Trey Lance believer. So we all make mistakes. But, yeah, I get why a lot of people were Fields believers. And, I was never a Fields believer. I always thought they should have drafted Caleb with that first overall pick in 2024, which that said more about Caleb than it did about Justin Fields. But I did acknowledge what Justin Fields had done. And I was in on him going to Pittsburgh. I was like, hey, Mike Tomlin will help reel this guy in. But Russell Wilson was better for a game last year, and I don't know. I wonder if Darian Mensah will transfer. I don't know. The Duke NIL is probably up exponentially if I had to guess. I think he probably will just because, that's the era of college football we're in. And, yeah. But either way, that's true. Drew Aller and Nussmeier have 10. Yeah, they've just – their stocks have just nosedived. That's really, really big. I think Arch will be fine. He's actually been kind of decent these past 2 games. Yeah, I've always thought that he'll be fine. And it just speaks to the world that we live in that, people are not willing to give these young quarterbacks just a chance to succeed. Even as rookies, it's exponentially worse in the college game because these dudes are 21, 22, and I couldn't imagine having this sort of microscope on me when I was 21 or 22 or whatever. Yeah. Drafting Surtain was the start of building out the special defense. You are 1,000% correct because I do believe that Surtain is the longest tenured player on this defense. Yeah, it was. it was. And honestly, when you add the best corner in the league instead of a bust quarterback, then that's amazing. Also, I've been a huge, huge critic of George Payton throughout his time in Denver. I've been a huge critic of, talking about George Payton, and I honestly don't think he's that good of a GM. Like, I think he's fine for what he is, but this roster is, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, is still really feeling the quality of not having 3 first-round picks and not having 3 second-round picks because you had to trade for Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. And, the Russ trades, whatever, but you also had to trade for Sean Payton because your hire in the 2022 cycle was so bad. And it hasn't shown up on the roster on the defensive side of the ball, but it has on the offensive side of the ball. Like, we still don't have our quality. We all have our misses, Wolf. Yeah, like it's draft season. Nobody bats 1,000. Like, if you can bat 40% in the draft, like even the best GMs bat like 35, 40%, and it's a lottery. That's ultimately what it is. Granted, there's things that you can do as an organization to improve your hit rate that I think a lot of teams just really refuse to do for whatever reason, even though it's a $1 billion company and there's billions of dollars at stake and jobs and, legacies on the line. But yeah, I was a Paxton Lynch believer, SMH. Now, were you a Paxton Lynch believer pre-draft, or were you a Paxton Lynch believer in the 2017-2018 offseason? Because if you're a Paxton Lynch believer pre-draft, whatever. I was listening to I was in Driver's Ed in 2016, and I remember hearing Cecil the whole time on the radio while I was sitting in my car. I remember Cecil talking about Paxton Lynch, Paxton Lynch, Paxton Lynch. But if you were still in on him after the 2017-2018 season, then maybe, I don't know. We all have our misses, yeah. And Judah Arch will eventually be fine. He was just going to be the 101 this year, but it's okay if he comes out next season. Yeah, 100% agree. Like, I don't know if I would have said 101 before he took a snap, but he was the Heisman favorite for a reason. Anyway, Broncos shit. Nah, general NFL shit, man. Denver sports shit. Avs win, Jokic 55 burger. I have that mentioned on here. Can't lie, I was definitely guilty about being mad about the PS2 selection. Boy, am I glad to be wrong. All right, I'm going to see if I can find this clip of me and my friends all reacting to the Patrick Surtain selection. Hold on. I want to see if I can. Oh, shit. I accidentally just signed out of my YouTube. You guys are going to laugh so hard. If I can pull this up. Yeah, he'll be a first-round pick, 2027, no problem. As long as he, you guys probably know better than I do, but as long as he has the physical talent to succeed. Like, I don't follow college football closely enough to know this. I follow the draft, but that's cyclical. Like, I'm thinking about the guys in the 2026 draft, not the 2027 draft. I'm sorry. On the Broncos, I understand why they didn't, and I'm sorry to plug a draft pod in here. No, that's completely fine. I love Stock Exchange. I'm always interested in hearing what other people have to say. I understand why they didn't make a move at the deadline too, even if I am disappointed that it didn't work out. I'm not mad at anyone in particular, just disappointed it didn't work out. I understand why they didn't make a move too. Granted, Waddle on this team would have been pretty sick, but for a deal to be made, it takes 2 to tango. Who's your pick for Heisman? I don't know. Heisman's not really that competitive this year. I was in person. I was in Columbus for Penn State versus Ohio State 2 weeks ago. And I'm telling you, Julian Sayin is legit, man. He looks awesome. Although Ty Simpson looks like he's probably going to get the majority of the votes. I feel like they should have made a trade for a receiver with the 2026 first. Probably. Yeah, but the problem is, once again, for a trade to happen, it takes 2 to tango. And if it was just the 2026 first, then yeah, I don't know why they didn't do it. But the question is not Waddle and what he adds to this team. The question is Waddle plus his contract and what he adds to this team. Like, was it worth taking on Jalen Waddle and taking on his deal? And it may not have been. It may not have been for the vision the Broncos had. But I understand the frustrations with not making the moves. Once again, I would have loved Waddle here, but yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Or if they managed to pry Achane away from Miami, yeah, that wasn't happening. Although, once again, like, man, I'm so sad we have Drew Sanders instead of Devon Achane. Like, that would have been sick. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something that you guys, I think, are going to laugh your heads off at. All right, I'm going to see if I can find my reaction to the Broncos taking Patrick Surtain 4 years ago. I remember I put it in my Jade Barron video. By the way, excuse the beard. All right. Hold on. It's got to be in here somewhere. I mean, that was my reaction live to Baron, but uh, it's got to be in here somewhere. No. All right. Oh, wait. Let me check this draft. Hold on. All right. 2021 Broncos draft class. I think it's in this one. Okay, never mind. Okay, I can't find it, but it's a video of me and my friends reacting to Patrick Surtain when we drafted them, and we were all so like dejected, and it's funny. You're just gonna have to take my word on it. Also not mad. Yes, disappointed. It didn't happen is the exact phrasing I should use. Yeah, and I get what you meant. Like, I think I got where you were coming from. Like, you were kind of like me, where you're just like, yeah, it didn't happen, and were you disappointed? Yes, but I'm not going on Twitter being like, fire everyone. It is what it is. Can't get mad at the end of the day. Hopefully we draft a wide receiver. Yeah. Like, we definitely need to go offense with our pick. Like, if I were just to go on the current trajectory, but some of those linebackers look pretty sick, and this team clearly wants to invest in defense. So I don't know. I may have been the only person at the end of the day who was really happy that they took Jahdae Barron. Everyone else was confused. I was stoked. I think there were a lot of people that were really excited about Jahdae Barron, and I will admit I was not one of them. I thought that if you were going to invest in this defense, you should have gone on the defensive line because of the JFM contract coming up. I thought the secondary did not require first-round investment based on, how well Jim Leonard had coached these dudes up last year. And overall, that was my feeling about the pick. I thought, with all those DB needy teams in the middle teens, like Arizona needed DBs, Miami needed DB, and Tampa Bay needed DB, and they all passed on him. They all passed on him for a reason. That's why I was like, man, the Broncos tried to sell him to us as like a blue chip prospect, and I just didn't agree with that at all. I was like, all right, a blue chip prospect does not fall to 20 when teams that are in the teens clearly need defensive back. That's why, like, I don't know. I wasn't super duper mad about the pick. I liked his game. I liked him as a prospect. But the problem was I just didn't think it was a smart use of resources. I really didn't. And that was my thing. I actually liked the PS2 pick. Wanted Fields, but wasn't mad at PS2. Honestly, hats off to you because it felt like a lot of this fan base was really mad about that. Also, this hat is not feeling good right now. Let me switch to my foam head. All right, here we go. For the Chiefs game, my prediction is Broncos W 21-7. Feel like slow first quarter, couple scores, end of half. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I like the prediction. I really do. I'm in a weird spot with this game where I'm optimistic, but not expecting them to win, but still thinking that we're going to go out and play really well. I don't know. Moral victories don't exist, but yeah. Yes. Shout out to you, Faded Wolf Gaming. Everyone like and subscribe, and be sure to join the comment section if you were just happening to being lurking in, David talks, or what's it called? Yeah, but either way, Dobbins is not going to play. Like, we haven't received official confirmation, but he didn't practice today. He didn't practice yesterday. The team was talking about putting him on IR. It's not happening. Well, and Sean Payton also talked about Jaleel McLaughlin going to get his opportunity, so it's not happening. Last offensive line pick they've made in the top 100, I think that was Miners, right? Yeah, they should invest in offensive line again since Miners was. And apparently, like, interior is pretty solid this year in the range that we're most likely going to be picking. So, and it's not a bad idea. Trenches is never a bad idea. I don't care what anyone says. Like, even though this offensive line has infrastructure, and obviously Bowles, McGlinchey will be back next year. Same with Miners, but we'll see what happens with Wattenberg and what happens with Powers, because Powers, honestly, I think has earned another year here, but we'll see. I don't think Wattenberg has. I think we can definitely upgrade that spot. Not to say that I think he's terrible, but we can definitely upgrade. They can get a tackle to supplant McGlinchey in the next year or two. That'd be great. But the Broncos won't have a ton of options. Yeah, I agree. It feels like interior is stronger in the late rounds or in the late first. And it feels like tackle is not really ever that good past like the top 10, 15 guys. But someone quote me on that. Yeah, offensive line first round wouldn't be bad. I agree. I agree with what everyone says. Cam Coleman 2027 might be the agenda though. That's fantastic, but holy cow. 2027 draft is way beyond my expectations. I think it's more like that it's time to take offensive line in the top 50. Yeah, I agree. And Sean Payton's an O-line savant. He's always had good offensive lines and really good offensive linemen down there in New Orleans. And he came here and instantly flipped our line like that. And the offensive line we had in 2022 was a joke, was an absolute joke. But we have three of the guys that were there from 2022. So that's interesting. But yeah, Powers and McGlinchey. It just shows you how important coaching is in the NFL. Would say Jeremiah Smith, but he's for sure going in the top 10. Yeah. Assuming the, current trajectory of Smith holds, because prospects are volatile. Like, yeah, there's no way we're going to be picking, assuming that we're going to be as equally, or assuming we're even a wild card team, which is probably worst case scenario for next year. We're not going to be in Jeremiah Smith's range. That's why I'm throwing it out there, Kodiak. They could have a wide receiver there, but Payton rarely takes wide receiver in the first. I also think Bryant and Franklin, as some of her first couple of drafts, are wide receiver additions. Yes, although every year of the George Payton, Sean Payton regime, we have drafted a wide receiver. Every year of the Sean Payton, George Payton regime, we've drafted a wide receiver, a corner, and a pass rusher. So we're going to get one. We're going to get one. It's just a determining factor on like how often, on what level of capital they decide to use. I wouldn't say but I also wouldn't say Payton rarely takes wide receiver in the first. I think he's done it 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me just double check. Let me check. Oh, no, never mind. It looks like you're right. Brandon Cooks, obviously, I knew about, and Robert Meacham, but I was trying to think. Okay, obviously, he was not there for Olave. Wow, it's kind of interesting how they've got trenches so often in the draft, and they still really, really suck and have no infrastructure in New Orleans. But I like Jaleel. I think he can break a couple for some good runs. Sharing carries with Harvey. Another hot take. I feel PS2 may play this game. Could be wrong, though. Surtain didn't practice again today, which is why I don't think he plays. But he could. Honestly, he could. We'll see what the practice status looks like tomorrow. I like Jaleel. I think he can break for some couple good runs. Like, I don't know, man. He really, really did not run that well last year. And he basically could have captured the backfield with how bad Javonte and Estime both were, too. And he just did not do that. I felt like he had very little juice. He felt like to me like the 10, 15-yard chunk play guy, even when we would have positive run plays last year, which was not very often. We had the second worst run game in the league last year if you excluded our quarterback. I will say they can cut Powers and save about 10 mil. If they don't cut Powers, that's okay with me. But if they do cut him, they could replace him with a guy like Dunker. Yeah, like I think if the cost is 10 million, I would just roll with Powers. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Like if they do decide to do that, then yeah, I'm on the same page with you, C Todd Ghost. I was pounding the table for Matthew Golden and Nemeka Egbuka. Egbuka went and picked before, and Golden has not been good in Green Bay as most thought. Yeah, man, Egbuka was the third guy on my wish list. If I was tiering them, who I thought would be available for the Broncos, it was Derek Harmon was my number one, who's balled out this year with Pittsburgh. Kenneth Grant was my number 2, who's been just a complete non-factor with the Miami Dolphins so far. But Egbuka was my number 1 offensive pick for this team. Matthew Golden, I really did not like him pre-draft. A lot of the film guys that I really, really like, and a lot of the film guys that I'm really, really close to, they all liked Matthew Golden's film. But my problem was the production profile was so bad. Like the production profile was so bad, which is why I didn't like him as a prospect. Granted, I didn't see him like being this ineffective, at least in year 1, especially. It looked like that Green Bay wide receiver room was there for the taking, even if they do treat Kraft as their number 1 option there, but still, yeah. Yeah, but no, Egbuka on this team would have been sick. I'm sad that we couldn't move a pick or 2 just to move up for him. He's one of those players that doesn't need to practice to show on game day and throws to the Chiefs game plans. I think you're right, but he's also missed the past 2 weeks, and form is a very real thing in professional sports. So it's not like we saw with Greenlaw. It's not as simple as just throw him out there. Like, obviously, you're going to get him having high-level snaps. And I doubt that Patrick Surtain's just sitting on the couch, not, staying in shape or whatever. But I think there's more to it than that. But, yeah, he's a guy that we could count on high-level play if we really, really if he didn't practice at all. I have a feeling offensive line, D-line pick will be the move. I personally haven't seen Stefon play much, but I've heard he's been good. Q has popped when I've seen him. Yeah. Trenches, this team clearly wants to invest in trenches, and I can't say they're wrong for it. Like, we probably pound for pound have the best trenches in the NFL on this roster right now. Stefon did look good in the preseason, but granted, that's preseason. You can't really take much away from that. But it's nice having another developmental defensive lineman in the pipeline. And a lot of people have pegged him as the JFM replacement if we can't work something out with JFM. I would love for us to re-sign JFM. I think he's really important, but we'll see. Q Robinson has also popped when I've seen him. Yeah. The problem is he was inactive against the Raiders because of the running onto the field thing. Like, Sean Payton talked about guys being late running onto the field, and it was reported that it was Q Robinson. But yeah, no, I think since Jonah Ellis has been dealing with a hamstring injury and hasn't practiced this week, we're probably going to see Q Robinson. Yeah. Seeing Ibuka ball out hurts my heart. Should have been a Bronco. Dude, Travion tonight too. And early about your point, I think they'll take a wide receiver, but they just don't it in the first with Payton and Fold. I mean, if you were to look at what positions these teams actually, how much a team actually takes a certain position in the first, it's probably pretty similar. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, they're going to take a wide receiver, and we know that because they do it every year. They've done it every year of this regime. They took Mims with their first pick together in the front office. They took Troy Franklin in 2024, and they took Pat Bryant this past year. So, yeah. PS2 said he feels pretty good about his podcast. I think he'll be back by the Commanders game if he doesn't play on Sunday, 100%, especially because they didn't put him on IR. For JFM, I just double his salary. It's not as easy to do that, though, because if you're adding another $15 million a year contract, I don't know, you just got to be smart around these points. But yeah, because it could cost you another extension, and you might not really need to do that on the defensive line and pour that much into the D line. But I get what you're saying. I think the Commanders is a good bet to see PS2 back, but I think the Commanders are so bad, it'd be okay if he doesn't play. That is true, but obviously if Daniels does play in that game, then they are a different team, obviously with him than without him, but yeah. Okay, so what I really wanted to talk about is that it was reported by Ian Rappaport tonight that Stefon Diggs was almost a Bronco. I don't believe this. Actually, I gotta give a shout out to Faded Wolf Gaming for this super chat, man. Always great interacting with you guys. Always makes my day when you guys take your hard-earned cash and want to give it to me, even though I'm just a guy on the internet who talks about football. So thank you so much. I had my restaurant job this morning, but hopefully I can do this for a living one day. If there was a player that we could have gotten before the trade deadline, who would you have liked to see us sign? I was excited for TJ Hawkinson. Hawkinson would have been a good one, especially because we have those problems at inline tight end. But staying with tight end, I would have gone for Njoku. I thought Njoku made plenty of sense for this team. With the emergence of Harold Fannin in Cleveland, I thought Njoku was entirely expendable. With everything else that's gone on in With everything else that's gone on in Cleveland, I thought, that Fannin or that Njoku may be just they just might be trying to shed some salary there. So to answer your question, Njoku would have been my guy. One that I was really, really excited for. Yeah, if you're talking about receivers, I love Rashid Shaheed. I got a huge need for Rashid Shaheed. I don't see the merits of giving a fourth and fifth for him, though, like Seattle did. He fits that Seattle offense like a glove, so I understood why they did it. But I love Shaheed, but he really was not what this offense needed, especially because he plays the same role as Mims. That's absolutely true. They don't have to keep JFM. It would just hurt my soul. Yeah, man, I love JFM. I love me some John Franklin Myers. The problem is that, he's one of those guys that I think he understands market value. He understands that he's going to go elsewhere. He's going to get a heck of a contract, and he deserves it. The Jets were really, really silly for just giving him to us for free, but yeah. Maybe given Ingram's struggles, Njoku was a possibility to sign in the offseason and Ingram's cut. Wait, let me check. Is Njoku a free agent? Let me check. Could we sign him? Oh yeah. He is a free agent this upcoming year. So yeah, that might be interesting. He's definitely a possibility to sign him, but I don't know if they double dip and do that 2 years in a row with tight ends. I think they'd probably rather draft one, but I don't like taking tight ends in the first round. Like a lot of people are talking about Colston Loveland and Tyler Warren. I didn't think the problem with first round tight end is it's very rarely worth it for the teams that actually go for it. Granted, I do think they're going to draft one if they do go that route. I had high hopes for Ingram. He's got like 220 something yards in these last 10 weeks. Yeah, man, he's just been a non-factor. I can't explain it, man. I think, it was a really confusing signing now that I'm backing on it because Sean Payton doesn't like guys who don't block. And Evan Ingram, like one of his strengths is not blocking. Plays like that big slot role. And yes, he's listed as a tight end, but until he actually switches his position to wide receiver, then yeah, he was supposed to be an offensive weapon for us. I thought that even if this never made sense to me. A lot of people were like paging him as like a downfield threat, but the Jaguars, they targeted him with an average depth of target of 5 yards downfield. That's like running back level. But I was like, all right, he can be a chain mover for us, but he hasn't even done that. So yeah, I don't know. That's been disappointing as well. If JFM gets paid, I'll just be happy he gets paid. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Harvey's become the Joker we were all looking for. I wouldn't say that yet, but like if he's able to ramp up his role to be like 6 to 8 receptions a game, then yeah. I agree that he looks good in limited sample, but if he can actually be a focal point of this offense, then yeah. I'm willing to say he's a Joker. Ingram had some really bad drops, but hasn't really had clean throws either. Hasn't been used as well as he could have been in this offense, in my opinion, either. Yeah, man. And this goes back to the struggles. Like, it's not one person's fault. It really is not one person's fault as to, why everything looks the way it does, why everything's like all convoluted right now. It's a hard day to play quarterback and call offensive plays when you're constantly in 1st and 10, or 1st and 20, I should say, 2nd and 16, 3rd and 12, man. And, the receivers, they need to elbow out because Bo Nix has had the 2nd most drops in the NFL by his wide receivers. Granted, yeah, I agree. Sometimes he does need to get a better football, like into the screen game in particular. But, it's one of those things where I'm just like, all right, it's not like, it's not that simple. And it's just like, oh, man, I wish it were that simple. But, man. All right. So either way, now that I'm caught up on these comments, I'm ready to show you guys something. So there was a report on Thursday Night Football that the Broncos almost signed Stefon Diggs. So I'm going to show you this clip and you guys can just give me your thoughts in the comment section. I have a hard time believing this. Like, I really don't believe the fact that Stefon Diggs was almost a Bronco. A lot of people want to say that, but I have a hard time believing it, and you guys are just going to have to watch this clip so you can see.
Ian Rappaport. So, Ian, Diggs coming off that ACL injury. So what's New England's approach when it comes to signing him as a free agent?
Yeah, signing Stefon Diggs was the end of a decades-long quest for Mike Vrabel, who did get him, by the way, 3-year, $69 million deal. Vrabel recruited Diggs out of high school when he was an assistant at Ohio State. Didn't get him, was mad about it. When Diggs became available this spring, his agent sent video to the Patriots just 3 months after the ACL tear. He was running, cutting, good sign ahead of schedule. It came down to the Broncos or Patriots. 5 months from passing a physical, the Patriots signed him, a big-time leap of faith.
Yeah, Stefon Diggs leads the team in catches and receiving yards this season.
So you guys saw that. It was down to the Patriots and the Broncos, according to Ian Rappaport. That's really interesting. I don't believe it, though. I think it's really interesting that the Broncos were in on a 31-year-old wide receiver coming off an ACL tear, and they were going to add another market contract to this team. I don't believe it. I just don't. Ultimately. I agree that if it looks like Rap Sheet's saying it, it's true. Yeah, we probably just couldn't match New England. I think it's probably just boiled down to money. We probably just weren't willing to match what New England had offered because, Diggs, he's one of those guys that he would have just gone to the highest bidder. Knowing his personality, he would have just gone to the highest bidder, no doubt about it. I do believe if it hits you in the chest, though, as a receiver or tight end, no excuse, need to catch those. Yeah, 100%. Like if it hits like almost anywhere in here, then yeah, I agree. The problem is sometimes it's a wonky football, but you need to adjust. Like, let's be an NFL wideout. Let's be an NFL tight end. Let's be an NFL running back. And let's help out our quarterback and make a tough catch. Dobbins made a tough catch, against the Chargers in week 3. You guys remember in week 3 when Bo Nix threw that like sideways football and Dobbins made like a one-arm catch and took it to the end zone? Like, yeah, we need to help out our quarterback. It sure as hell looks like if Rap's saying that's true. Yeah, like the fact that he's saying it definitely makes me think there's validity. I have a hard time believing it just because I don't think he would have made sense for this team. Like if I were putting myself back in March 2025, I would have been like, man, do we need, like, I didn't think it made sense. Like credit to Diggs, he's balling out this season, but 31-year-old coming off an ACL tear, getting $22 million a year. I just don't think the Broncos would have been willing to do that. I genuinely don't. And, and that's finer. Yeah, exactly. He went to the highest bidder. It's okay to get another bag. Yeah, exactly. And shout out to him this year, man. He's been balling with Drake May. Drake May looks absolutely fantastic. And I shout out to Diggs. He has a style of wide receiver play which will age well because he's like not a speed guy. He's like a timing guy. He's a chemistry guy. He's a route runner who can just get open. He's a high-end separator. And credit to him, he's still balling, even though it's the Jets. Like he's been very good this year. I believe to talk about Diggs, but he's also yes, this is big, Faded Wolf, because we don't do the diva wide receiver thing here in Denver. We don't do the diva wide receiver thing. And I'm gonna use this to tee off on another point. The Bo Nix discussion would be so much more toxic right now if we had Diggs posting subliminal tweets about not getting enough targets. Yeah, 100%. And with a locker room as tight as ours and as close as ours and as united as ours is, I wouldn't have liked the Diggs acquisition, like going back in March. Obviously it's easy to say now that, he really would have helped this football team. And while that might be true on the field, I still I don't know, man. I don't know. I've always kind of been a little wishy-washy on him. When the Texans cut off all the remaining years of his contract, I figured this would be the case. Yeah, 100%. And, the Texans, think about them. They were a team that they needed wide receiver this past offseason. People can think about Nico Collins, but Tank Dell completely ruptured his knee, and he probably is not going to play football again until 2026. So Tank Dell completely ruptured his knee, and they spent their first 2 picks of this past draft on Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel, 2 wide receivers. So yeah. The Bo Nix discussion would be more toxic right now if we had Diggs. I already went at this, but yeah, he made such a good point there. And honestly, you could probably look back at some of my stuff from free agency, that free agent time period, and you can tell that I was not in on Stefon Diggs. I really wasn't. I really was not. Especially because we never do the diva wide receiver thing here. We just don't. We do not. But that's why a Waddle or honestly Jacoby Myers would have fit us perfectly. Team first guys. Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Like the guys that are willing to do the dirty work. Speaking of team first guys, Lil Jordan Humphrey is back. No, I'm kidding. We already talked about him last night. But talk about a guy that does the dirty work. Like, I don't know. Yeah, team first guys. Sutton is also a team first guy. Think about how many years we were uncompetitive with bad quarterback play. And Sutton never said a word. Never said anything. Never went to the media and was like, yeah, I need to get more targets. He did such an amazing job of that. And I'm so proud. So proud of Cortland Sutton. And that's why he's honestly one of my favorite players on the team. My coworker is a Packers fan, and after the Packers lost, I told him that the game looked a lot like the Broncos-Raider game. I mean, it was 10-7 final score with both teams looking lifeless until the fourth quarter. So, yeah. People hating on Denver but are not shitting on the Packers, and they lost. Yeah. I mean, I think there's more excuses for the Packers, though. Like, you went up against the defending Super Bowl champions, whereas the Broncos, you went up against a 2-6 football team that had just played in overtime the week prior. So, yeah, I get what you're saying, but honestly, we had no excuses to beat the nuts off of the Raiders, and we came out and laid an egg. Even though we won, which is the most important thing, yeah. I would love if they signed Jacoby in the offseason. That guy rules. Yeah, he would be a huge addition to this team. And apparently the Broncos were kind of in on him, but the Raiders would have never traded him in the division. So, yeah. The diva receiver is why we shipped off Jeudy. Yeah, 100%. And, a lot of people like to do mental gymnastics and say that Jerry Jeudy was not the problem here. And I'm just here to disagree wholeheartedly. I don't think he's been very well. But yeah, so either way, 2 drops on 174 targets. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, that's something that this team could really use because, like I said, it's not one person's fault in particular that this team looks like this, but the weapons need to play better. They need to step it up. Maybe let's help out our quarterback and catch some tough balls. Also, this is unrelated. I just thought about this, but I'm getting nose surgery and the day after the Commanders game. So hopefully I will be happy when I go into surgery that day. They're going to cut open my sinuses and they're going to remove one of my nose turbines, which is pretty exciting. Thought I'd fill you guys in. Raiders beat the Patriots. Dude, yeah. Week 1 can often be very deceiving. It's often said the only week harder to predict than week 1 is week 2. Yeah, and the Raiders did beat the Pats, so that's interesting. Yeah. GNF games always suck. They do play the Chiefs at Arrowhead on Christmas Thursday Night Football, and they play the Jags at home on Sunday afternoon. Yes, they do. Let me check to see who the Chiefs have after that. Who the Chiefs have before that. Oh, no. The Chiefs have Tennessee, so that's like basically a bye game for them. Although we really struggled with Tennessee week 1. Jeudy just sucks. Him being a diva was even more of a reason to trade him. Yeah, I agree. Jeudy I don't think he sucks, but I think he's extremely overrated. I think the fact that he did what he did last year on our defense just says more about Levi Wallace than anything else. And our, whatever. Yeah, but hope you're good, man. That sucks. Yeah, no, I'm perfectly fine. But I get like 10 sinus infections a year, so I'm fine. I'm happy that they're going to fix that problem with me. But yeah, overall, you know what's crazy? Even though the Steve Smith thing happened, I think a lot of people. I don't know why everybody was taking Steve Smith's side because Jeudy didn't do himself any favors. But I don't think Steve Smith is like some amazing like talent evaluator who's like, when teams call me, I'm going to tell them not to trade for you. Like the dude just basically flamed Jerry Jeudy, and I don't think he handled that very well either. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my take on the Steve Smith Jerry Jeudy thing. Like Steve Smith told the Panthers to trade up and draft Jonathan Mingo in 2023. So that was a little interesting. I thought that was really stupid. I said it at the time that the pick was really bad, and Steve Smith was the one who made it for them. So good. The crazy part about our bye week is that they're either going to be 8-3 or 9-2. Yeah. Yeah, we're either going to win or we're not. Yeah, but 8-3, 9-2 coming into the season. Like I thought we were going to be 7-3 after Houston or 6-3 after Houston. I thought we were going to lose to Houston, but we're still right on schedule. Like if you just look at what we've done this year, like as far as everything I penciled in, I thought we'd beat the Colts. I thought we'd start 2-0, but we started 1-2 because we lost to the Colts and the Chargers. But yeah. No, this is absolutely still on the menu. Like 12-5 and 13-4 is absolutely still within the realm of possibility. And the Chiefs, they have very little margin for error. Same with the Chargers, especially without Joe Alt. But we need to be 9-2 to keep up the number 1 seed. The Pats got the win. Yep. You are 100% correct. And the unfortunate thing is they have a lot more division wins than we do. I don't think they've dropped a single division game. So since we don't play them head-to-head, it is going to be settled by division record if they do ultimately. What am I trying to say? If they do ultimately finish with the same record as us. Everybody keeps discrediting the Broncos, though. I mean, yeah, I get why they do, but in Broncos country, we know what we got. Let's be real. We should have won the Colts game. Yeah, we should have, because honestly, the defense made a stop. They made the Colts kick a 62-yard field goal, and it was our special teams that let us down on that one. So, yep. And unfortunately, it was a penalty. Like, it's annoying that it was called in that spot, but it's really annoying. But I got why they did it. Put the Pats 8-game winning streak next to the Broncos 7-game winning streak. The Broncos have had to go through tougher opponents. Like that's the thing about the Patriots is that their schedule is just laughable. It's laughably easy. Like there is very, very few teams of legitimacy on their schedule. especially down the stretch. But yeah, they've played some really, really shit teams lately. I think the only game they should have lost was the Charger game. You know what's crazy though is that we gave ourselves a chance to win the Charger game too. So like, I don't know, we should be undefeated right now. Or actually, no, we shouldn't be undefeated because Herbert went God mode in the final drive of the game. But our offense couldn't sustain anything, and we just left too much on the field that day. So yeah, that leverage call is the only call this year, and I see leverage in almost every NFL game. Yeah, I agree. And like, man, it's really annoying that they called it in that spot, but once again, I blame the special teams for that because special teams has not earned the benefit of the doubt. So I blame Rizzi for calling us that. Whatever. Bo Nix picking field goal range and Lutz missed field goal cost us that game. Yep. We found a way to beat ourselves. And what's crazy is that I came on this channel and I said, man, when this happens, like when are we going to finally find a way to close out close games? And we've done nothing except close out those tight contests ever since then. You can only play who they play, and I don't want to discredit the Pats because they've won those games. I mean, it's true you can only play who you play. And yeah, I mean, they did beat Buffalo on the road, so they do deserve some flowers there. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. They could have dropped the Jets game even though they didn't. Yeah, I mean, we could have dropped Philly. We could have dropped the Jets. We could have dropped Giants. We could have dropped Houston, Raiders. You know, with the Raiders, I think in particular, you got really lucky that all those that you just were playing against a shitty team that wanted it even less than you did, because all those other games they had built-in excuses, but the one against the Raiders definitely did not. They missed that kick and they literally put it on the Jumbotron that the Broncos win. Yeah, but once again, it's really annoying that it was called in that situation, but it was the right call. And once again, special teams has not earned the benefit of the doubt this year, so that's all I'm trying to say about that. Like, I get it. Once again, it's frustrating. I'm annoyed. Like, everybody should be annoyed with what went down. But, yeah. They haven't lost in basically 2 months, the Broncos, that is. But, yeah, they are sick. And the only thing that matters is the win column because they're not going to go up to They're not going to go up to the NFL at the end of the year is not going to, be looking at the Broncos and being like, well, you beat the Titans. Like, you barely squeaked by against the Jets. That's only 0.2 of a win. But, yeah, could have beat the Chargers and should have won on the Colts. I feel we were robbed. I agree. Yeah, we did shoot ourselves in the foot. Like, I don't know. Once again, it was a bad call to try to block field goal. Like, if a dude drills the 60-yard field goal, then congratulations. Mazel tov to him. He won the football game. Fantastic. But, yeah, we still had the Lutz miss kick in a dome. Like, I don't know how the ball curved that way in a dome. I really don't. We also had, what did we have? The Bo Nix picking field goal range on 3rd and 3, nonetheless. We had Dobbins spiking the football to get a delay of game penalty. We had Adam Troutman get a face mask. So, yes, self-inflicted wounds, man, and they've killed us all year. And I think they will in the playoffs if we don't clean things up. But, yeah, I agree. I'm echoing your point. They haven't lost in basically 2 months, but thankfully they're still sick. Yeah, 100%. Do you guys have any questions about, like, the running back room? Or anything, because I do want to talk about like Jaleel or Bidet or Harvey or any of those guys. I think Bo's going to play very well against the Chargers. I think he throws for over 300 against the Commanders, and then they go to play Vegas, host the Packers. Yeah, like the schedule looks pretty kind to us down the stretch. So the only thing is, I hope you're right on the quarterback. I hope he turns it around, and he'll be out for blood in the Chargers revenge game. So yeah. Oh, you meant Chiefs here. I think he will too, but we'll see. Yeah, I agree. And like I've been saying, like it's annoying how often it happens and how little they call it. Like the blocked field goal that Houston had against us, that was leverage. But once again, in that spot, we did so many things to lose the game. So, yeah, I agree. It's annoying it was called. It's been called since 2015, only 70 times in the NFL. And I think that was the only time it's ever been called in the fourth quarter. But yeah, once again, annoying it was called, but special teams does not earn the benefit of the doubt. No more Bidet, please. Give Jaleel more opportunity. I agree that Bidet hasn't played very well, but I don't think Jaleel is that good either. Like last year, Jaleel McLaughlin had a chance to capture this backfield. Hey, another super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, TOD Ghost. I appreciate you. But no more Bidet, please. Give Jaleel more opportunity. Like, yeah, I get why a lot of people want to see Jaleel McLaughlin, but here's my argument against Jaleel McLaughlin. He's an undersized guy. He doesn't catch passes. He doesn't play special teams, and he doesn't run with good vision. So, like, at that point, what do you do well? Like, straight line speed. He had his chance to capture this backfield last year, and he did not. That's just the reality of the situation. He had his chance to capture this backfield last year with Javonte Williams, and he, in my opinion, was a big reason why the run game was so bad last year. I agree. Watching Bidet drop those passes is really frustrating, but Jaleel McLaughlin would not have taken those like handful of third and longs that Bidet has picked up on this year. 3rd and 12, 3rd and 14, Bidet has picked up on those twice now. So, yeah. Commanders' defense is pretty bad, so yeah, Bo should have a good performance against them. He should. He's no JK. That's why JK's here. Yeah, quite honestly, you don't have a JK on your roster. Like JK, I think is like 4th in the NFL in overall rushing yards this year. And it's a tall task to replace him in the run game. So, yeah. I know Bidet is a good screen back, but who do you think is better in the backfield to rotate with Harvey? Or do we run Harvey heavy? I mean, I'm always a believer in not just relying on one guy. I think you always got to rotate guys. But, Bidet, he has earned the third down role. I think despite what a lot of people want to say, I think he's really good in pass protection. Like he's picked up some nice blitzes this year that, quite frankly, the other running backs have not. I think the thing that makes the most sense is you give Harvey the opportunity to replace Dobbins. You give him the opportunity to be the first, second down dude. And then you give Bidet, like, I don't know, you give him a couple third downs, but it should be the Harvey show. I'm not opposed to Jaleel coming in and getting a couple touches, but it should be limited to like 3 because his impact on this game is minimal whenever he's out there. Well, yeah, it is going to be Harvey, Bidet, and Jaleel. Sean Payton did confirm that in the press conference. But the other question is, what roles are they used in? What capacity are they used in? A lot of people think Bidet is going to be the first, second down guy. I don't think so. I think it's going to be the other way around. I think RJ Harvey is going to be the first, second down, like between the tackles grinder or whatever. And, we'll see. Because honestly, RJ Harvey had more 10-plus yard runs than Ashton Genty did last year on less carries. So the dude clearly has some juice, but he might be too boomer bust of a runner for him to actually like really be effective for us, especially in a really tough matchup where we have to keep the other team off the field, on an offense that's really struggled lately. So, yeah. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on Bidet. Like CTOD Ghost, I know what you think of Bidet, but, I don't think Jaleel is that good either. Like, I'm just being straight up. Like, there's a reason that he's fallen out of favor with his coaching staff. You know what? You're not wrong. Mims will be back in this game. That should be huge, too. He spreads the field. Yeah, 100%. And honestly, the Chiefs game last year was really the game that really, I think, kind of put Mims on the map and, like, him being, like, a gadget guy, a high-end gadget guy. So, because I remember that was, like, the first game we were really, like, running the football with him. And we were lining him up everywhere. But, yeah, I think Mims also has the best hands on the team, like just pound for pound. But that doesn't mean he's the best receiver on the team. But, yeah. Do you have a prediction for Rams-Seahawks? I think the Rams win it. The reason I think the Rams win it is because the Seahawks, they still have a young core. Like the Rams, you still have the Super Bowl winning core with Stafford, McVay, and all of them. But I just think that Seattle's been really prone to good offenses this year, good passing offenses like Tampa Bay. Emeka Egbuka came in there and just absolutely dropped his nuts on them. And I think the Rams are just more built to counter Seattle than the other way around. So I think the Rams take that one just because they've been there, done that. Now, if McDonald and Darnold can find a way to get the win, hats off to them. I'll admit that I'm wrong, but I've just seen the Rams do it a little more for longer. That's why I think the Rams take that one. Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Unfortunately, it is on the same time as our game, but yeah, where's my Sour Punch bites? Here we go. That's why I think the Rams ultimately take that one. It's just because, like, I don't know, Stafford and McVay have been together for many years, and McDonald and Darnold have not been together that long. They're relatively unbattle tested. That's what I'm trying to say. They did have a big game week 1, but once again, week 1 is pretty, I don't know how you put it in the NFL. It's pretty wishy-washy, if you will. But yeah. Yeah, thank you all for joining me on Denver Broncos tonight, November 11th, 20th, or November 13th, I should say. I don't know why I said November 11th. By the way, guys, I bought a Sony webcam. So when I do this tomorrow night, or I bought a Sony camera. So when I do this tomorrow night, picture quality is going to be a lot better. I felt Jaleel had some decent ball carrier vision and sort of shifty. He gave us some spark when we had nothing. Bidet seems more consistent, though. I'm not sure if Jaleel regressed. Jaleel has all right vision, and the only thing that really he does well, I think, is one-on-ones. Like last year against Tampa Bay when he made the dude miss on the HB toss on the goal line. I don't know why we ran HB toss on the goal line. I thought that was a stupid play call, but he does give you some juice. Like I think that's why, if you're just using him as like a pure like change of pace guy, like 3 to 4 touches a game, you're keeping him fresh all game, then yeah, I get why they're doing it. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm not getting out of here. I don't know why. Yeah. But no, I'm not getting out of here yet. But yeah, no, Bidet is more consistent. Like Jaleel got his opportunity against the Jets. Like everybody just said that they wanted to see Jaleel McLaughlin get his opportunity this year. And he absolutely barfed. Yes, go Avs, go Broncos, go Nuggets, and pray for the Rockies 100%. Oops. Yeah, I know. It did sound like I was getting off, but I'm not. Yeah, no, I don't know if Jaleel's regressed either, but the reality of the situation is he's also taken the most hits in college football. Like he had the most carries in college football history. So that is something to keep in mind, and he's 5'9", 187 pounds. Rams versus Seahawks should have been primetime. Yeah, I agree. Wait, let me check to see what is Sunday Night Football this week. Let me check to see what is Sunday Night Football this week. Oh, it's Lions Eagles. Okay, I can forgive that, but yeah, Rams Seahawks would have banged in the primetime slot. What happened to Lucas Kroll? He is out for the year. He had a foot injury. I don't know the extent of it, but he is out for the rest of the season. And I feel bad for him because, or actually, I don't know if he's out for the rest of the season, but we're not going to see him until maybe playoff time. Either way, wait, don't quote me. Wait, let me look this up. Is he out for the rest of the year? I thought I saw something that said he was out for the year, but let me check. I know he's on IR, but okay, he's out 8 to 10 weeks, so that basically means he's out for the rest of the year, unless we're going a really deep playoff run. But yeah, no, Lucas Kroll also sucks. Like I'm fine with not seeing him on the field. Yeah. Rams Seahawks game is going to be big. Yep. And whoever is the winner of that game is going to be number 1 in the NFL power rankings this upcoming week. It's amazing what Stafford's doing at 39 years old. He is so good. Like it feels like every time I'm watching the late window, he just throws a million touchdowns. So hats off to him. Hats off to him for that. But yeah. What am I looking at? What am I looking at so far? Oh yeah, I'm trying to find any info on Kroll. I don't think there's much out there. I really don't. That. I don't know what that music is. I like Ingram, but Troutman is decent blocking. We need something at tight end to back him up as well. I was hoping we picked Noah Fant back up when he was free agent. Yeah, man. I wish we'd have picked up Fant too, because honestly, he would have been an upgrade over Kroll. Like, I don't think Kroll is that good. I just flat out don't. And yeah, like you're not like a lot of people when Noah Fant was available, a lot of people were talking about like, all right, do you really want to go down that route, though? Like, he was already here, and, he didn't really play that good. First of all, he got 600 yards on a team that was not that good in 2021. He got 650 yards in a passing offense that was anemic. But, yeah, like, he definitely would have been better than Kroll, because Kroll can't block. He can't catch passes. He can't do anything. Like, at least with Trautman and Adkins, I don't love those guys either, but at least with Trautman and Adkins, you were able to, what's it called? You were able to remember a few things they did last year. Like, Trautman had that nice catch and run against the Chiefs last year. Adkins had a spin move. I think they both had touchdowns against the Colts or whatever, but yeah. Yeah. Glad Stafford is winning with the Rams instead of being forgotten like Matt Ryan. Yeah. Hold on, let me plug in my mouse because my mouse is dead. Yeah, either way, yeah, I agree. I'm glad Stafford is winning with the Rams instead of being forgotten. Man, I feel bad for Matt Ryan not getting that Super Bowl. They had a prime opportunity against New England. They just completely threw it away. Yeah, I always really like Stafford too. Need more guys to be able to both block and catch passes. 100%. I think CTOD, you have a good point. Like, Trautman is fine. Like, he has his place in the NFL. Don't get me wrong, but he's a tight end 3. And there's no reason for him and Prentice and Adkins to all be on this field at the same time and be like, I don't know, just stinking it up. Yeah, I agree. You need more inline help. He is so slow. That's the thing, Faded Wolf, is he is very, very slow. And it's not, I don't know, man. Like, he has his place in the NFL, but he's been bad this year. Trautman has been probably one of the worst guys in the team. I think his blocking has really regressed. Kroll, I am fine with never seeing him on the field again. Like, I'm just going to be straight up. Like, he offers straight up nothing to this team. He offers flat out, but he offers very minimal. That's why they signed Ingram. The problem is that Ingram was more of like a F guy. He's more of like a big slot. He's not like the inline guy. Like, yes, you can line him up inline, but he's not going to block. So that's a tell there. But yeah, we did need more than just Ingram. And we still do. I thought it was really puzzling last year that the Broncos didn't even think about taking a tight end. Like, I thought Q Robinson was a complete luxury pick. I'm like, why are we going 5 deep at edge when we have nothing at tight end? Ingram is fast for being 6'5". Problem is, I think we overrated his skill set. I think we overrated his skill set in the Sean Payton offense. Yeah, it was supposed to be more like big pass catching. Yeah, whatever. Drafted a basketball player in the 7th round. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's a 7th round pick, so it's not the end of the world. But taking a basketball player was pretty. I don't know why we did that. I'm going to be honest. And then Sean Payton goes to the podium and says, well, he's not really far along in his progression as an NFL player. I'm just like, dude, you took this guy in the 7th round. Like, you took a fat bond rip before you took him. I was bummed Dulcich was a bust first anyway. Dude, I don't know how he failed out so hard because he looked really good in that Russ Hackett year. And then, I don't know, he just never got continuity with the playbook. Just couldn't catch, couldn't block. So, yeah. Sean Payton overrated his skill set in the Sean Payton offense. Yeah, 100%, because he made going out and getting Evan Ingram a big deal. So, I don't know. I'm going to put some eardrops in because I have a lot of wax in my ear. Yeah. Yeah, Sean Payton did very much overrate his skill set. And once again, I blame Sean Payton for that because, there's a lot you can blame Sean Payton on for this season. I don't think play calling is one of them. I don't think, there's a bunch of other things that people want to blame Sean Payton for. But the reality of the situation is you could blame him for going out and getting Ingram and making it a big deal and also putting all the media and hype on this team. Ingram, I don't know why they signed him at this point. Like, he has not added that much. Now, great opportunity on Sunday to turn that around. Kansas City has very smart linebackers, but besides Leo Chenal, they are not fast linebackers. So you've got a good opportunity. And also, Bolton is not that good in coverage. So we do have a mismatch there, in my opinion, but it remains to be seen if it actually comes to fruition because, man, oh man, Evan Ingram this year has just been – I have not liked what I've seen so far. Agreed. And he also should not have gone to the media and said this quarterback was going to be top 5 in the next 3 years. Like, what good does that do to put those expectations on your rookie? And, I agree. Ingram shouldn't be counted out entirely because, it's still a weird offense right now. It still looks like it's going through some growing pains, even though it's week 10. It wouldn't surprise me if Ingram caught fire down the stretch because, ultimately we did sign him. And also he was hurt earlier this season. Maybe something's still lingering. Maybe after the bye he really heats up. But yeah, no, I think we're all on the same page. And, yeah. He could put up 500 yards in these last 6 games and I'll be eating my words and not saying they should/could cut him. Yeah, I don't think they would be ready to cut bait unless things were really, really bad. And he was like toxic in the building or whatever. And he just was a bad teammate or whatever. But yeah. I'll throw more supers after I win my picks this week. Appreciate you, and I hope you win a lot of money on your parlays this week, Faded Wolf. Working on getting a betting sponsorship, but none of those brands have actually reached out to me yet, and I don't know how to reach out to them. Ingram getting 1 or 2 spark plays, though, is more than we have been getting at tight end. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but the problem is, we thought we were going to be able to rely on Ingram to do much more, and honestly, ever since Philly, I don't really think he's provided those spark plays. I don't remember what he's done. I mean, actually, Dallas, he picked up a nice 3rd down, but still, I just don't remember him being effective at all, throughout our offensive game plan. And honestly, he's a big reason why I think we've been so stagnant on offense. Just poor play. There's just no other way I could put it besides poor play. And also, Adam Troutman's still out snapping him, which I don't know why. That's just stupid. That's just really stupid in my opinion, but yeah, was stoked in the preseason game, but that was deceiving. Dude, the catch and run for 50 yards. Yeah. Also, this is why we don't put stock in the preseason because what's his name looked like he was on an absolute tear. Sherfield looks like he was on an absolute tear. Jarrett Stidham looked like he was on an absolute tear. And Sherfield is going to be phased out of this team. Was stoked in the preseason game, but that was deceiving. Yeah. We know for sure he's not a bad teammate, but I think bad performance does warrant cutting him. If he ends the year with 400 yards, yeah, it's more than Jack's 2024, but he should produce more. Okay, my question to you, though, is you're cutting him and then you're replacing him with who? Because you can't go into the draft and be like, all right, circle this in. We're going to get a tight end, whether we want to or not. And I don't think even if no matter how good or how shitty he ends the year, you can't cut him. You just can't. That's how I feel about it now. It's okay to be frustrated. I think we should all be frustrated with, how minimal he's been involved in the offense. The fact that he has not looked that good so far, but yeah. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think. All the Ingram chatter in the comments, Faded Wolf, I know y'all are, whatever. Probably in Joku because they'll have $65 million in cap space and a couple of cuts bump that money up. I'm okay with not cutting Ingram. It's totally reasonable. Yeah, it's a reasonable deal. Oh my God. I don't know why I just yawned. I'm not even tired. But, $65 million, I'm okay with not cutting Ingram. It's totally reasonable. The only thing is, I don't know if they double dip back-to-back years in free agency or not. Same thing we talked about. Powers, they can cut or replace him. It's completely fine if they don't. Yeah. And honestly, that's a good question. I don't know. I was debating in my head after I saw this 10 seconds ago, who would be a better cut for this team? Who would be a more responsible cut for the team? And I don't know. Powers or Ingram? That's a good question. I'm pretty much always going to lean offensive line, but I trust in Streif. We trust because we actually have offensive line depth. We do not have any tight end depth. the thing I keep thinking about when people saying we've been playing bad, we have been so close to hitting these plays. If we start hitting these plays, we'd be killing it. Well, yeah, but there's a reason we're not hitting these plays. Like, I would feel a lot better if systematically everything looked smoother. Like, but when you have a quarterback that can't hit anyone, when you have a group of receivers that can't catch passes, when you have an offensive line that can't stop holding, like, it's just really hard. Like, we're this close. We should have had a big play in the 2-minute drill last week against the Raiders, and it got called back to a Pat Bryant OPI. And then we had another 3rd and 14 that we picked up on that same drive. And then on the first down, we commit a holding penalty. And it's just like, man, everything has been a productive struggle this year. I don't think we're that close, though. Like, a lot of people, I agree, the Sutton one, the flea flicker to Mims, yeah, we were off by this much, but and we're a couple missed blocks away on pretty much every play, it feels like. So, yeah. It's not like all the passes are bad and off. It's a collection of things. Like you said, yeah, 100%. Allegedly, after they made no trades, Albright said they're going to be very active in free agency. I could see that, especially because this team, honestly, under Sean Payton, has been very active in free agency. Now, the only problem is I don't know how strong this free agency class. I felt like this past year was a huge outlier as far as the strength of free agency. All right. So the problem is, let me check. Let me look at wideout. I mean, does 33-year-old Mike Evans do anything for you next year? Christian Kirk, Debo, maybe Jacoby Myers. That might be fun. But De'Ami Brown is not that good. Alan Lazard, he kind of reminds me of like Will Jordan Humphrey, where he's not actually that good, but he's willing to do the dirty work. Hollywood Brown, that's a guy I'm kind of interested in. Jawan Jennings, that could be a nice Champagne wide receiver. Shaheed, you got a need for Shaheed up there in Seattle, like I said. D-Hop, washed. Greg Dortch, always fun when he gets the ball in his hands, but I don't know. I feel like him on this team would be a misuse of resources and roster spots. Either way, there's just not a whole lot of like guys here, unless they trade for someone that I'd be like super excited about. I'm going to be honest, it's Powers because you can easily replace Powers. Oh, okay. Yeah. Financially, yeah, that's not even comparable between him and Ingram. Yeah, it'd be Powers. We'd get gains and then get negated by penalties. Yeah. And that's something that has been holding back this team all year. And Sean Payton's like, we got to clean that up. I'm like, where's the mop bucket? Like, where are you getting it? Where are you getting all this from? Debo and Cup and Old would want a younger star receiver. Yeah, like these guys are not that good. These guys really are not that good. Even though Cup's not on here, but still, I get what you're saying. Evans is going to be a buck. Yeah, he should, and he's going to retire with Tampa. And honestly, he should. Kind of sucks this year that he's not getting 1,000 yards because he's hurt. Myers or a wide receiver they could trade for would just be cool. Shaheed could be cool. Dortch would be cool, but they don't need him. Yeah, you're right. Get younger, man. Yeah, 100%. 100%. You need to get younger. Debo, Cup are old. The thing about Powers is if you're picking in the mid to late 20s, you just find a talented interior offensive line. That's true, but once again, the draft is always a gamble. And while I would trust them to do well with a rookie, it's still a complex offense for them to pick up. It's still a line that might turn over 2 spots next year, assuming Wattenberg leaves, which I don't know if he's going to, but you got to think about that too. If you're the Broncos, like you got to think about that. But yeah, what else? I'm gonna go back to my this slide. Hopefully we don't draft older guys in the draft again. I don't think there's a problem with it as long as those guys can actually like contribute right away. I agree. Like RJ Harvey, a 24-year-old running back, not having that big of an impact on the offense so far, then that's not whatever. I feel like the line is worth investing in. I don't think Powers is that replaceable. Like, yes, but if you're going to replace one spot, left guard is completely fine because you're getting serviceable play at that spot. You're not getting all-pro play at that spot. And honestly, Palczewski is not going to deter them from making any investment, but hey, he's shown that he can be serviceable, so you have a nice backup there. Palczewski, a lot of people like him. He's not a guy that's going to deter you from like offensive line investment if you really decide that you're going to go that route. But yeah, I consider drafting that Auburn center with their first. But yeah, he had that season-ending injury, I remember. But yeah, more like a day 2 guy. Yeah. The only problem is if you're going to pass on him and he's going to be an early day 2 guy, how do you get that capital to either go up or move back? Probably goes back to school. I don't know, man, because if you're an interior offensive lineman, like I think it's going to just be determined by what those like stock grades are, because apparently every college athlete gets like advice on, whether they're going to go back to school or not, or what they should do. But yeah, how old was he? Wait, let me check. I saw him like in the top 15 pre-draft or pre-college football season. Oh my God, yeah, he is a youngin. He is a real youngin. Cleaning my ears right now. Sorry about that. I just want some offensive talent, man. Tired of the drop passes and little separation. Yeah. They have another top 100 pick with the Saints 4th. Yeah, they do. And I'm really excited because, it's one of those things that during the season I was like, all right, not having Vele is going to hurt. I thought a lot of people are really underrating what Vele meant to this offense. And the struggles are independent of Vele, but he's a guy who could really help us right now. But yeah, no, it's going to be fun in April when we do have that extra 4th to work with. Like, that'll be really cool. I was glad to see Javonte Williams do well with the Cowboys. Dude, me too. I love Javonte Williams. I think, this entire fan base has been cheering for Javonte Williams. Everybody's stoked with the year he's having in Dallas or whatever. But yeah, thank you for watching me talk Broncos and clean my ears. Man, life doesn't get better, does it? Life really doesn't get better. But yeah. All right, I think I got everything out of my ears. Bailey would have been balling out with another year at this offense. The problem is, I don't know if nobody's balling out besides J.K. Dobbins, but in the past game, I don't know how. I wouldn't have said anybody could be balling out, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying there, but I would have been excited to see Bailey have another year in this offense. True, but yeah, I know what you meant, Faded Wolf. I know what you meant, but yeah, really enjoyed having you guys so far. It's 11:05 p.m. on Thursday, November 13th. I'll go, honestly, as long as you guys want me to, because I'm in no hurry. I don't work tomorrow until 5 o'clock. And by the way, yeah, I'm getting a new camera tomorrow, so it's going to be it was a $900 camera, so you're going to see me from this angle instead. It's going to be more head on, and I got a projector for my back. Whatever too. I got a projector and we'll see. I want to do I don't know. I think it'll be cool. But yeah, I love talking with you guys. This is so much fun for me. I caught the live, but couldn't comment much. Great questions and great coverage, brother. Yeah, man. You guys, T Fishes, I'm great. I'm grateful that you left that comment on my video last night. Yeah. Jordan Tyson, I assume you're saying he's not going to be there. I can almost say with confidence that we're not going to be in Tyson's range, but if we were, hey, that'd be fantastic. Cut Sherfield, bring Bailey back, and we have the 2024 Broncos wide receiver room plus Pat Bryant. Yeah, you're right. Cut Sherfield, I'm on board with that. Sherfield has added basically nothing to this team. Bring Bailey back. That's where things get a little dicey for me because, New Orleans gave up a 4th for him, so they're not just going to, I don't know, they're not just going to let him go. Makai Lemon could be good. Carnell Tate, not going to be in his range. Casey Concepcion, once again, I don't know. I have to do more research on this, guys, but yeah, one of your receivers, please, man. What are your thoughts on Franklin? He was supposed to be taking big steps this year, but seems to be falling short. Too inconsistent as a wide receiver, too, so far. I know he does have some useful things, but I don't know why the chemistry with Bo is so bad. I genuinely don't. I will say that I think he was a little overrated because coming into the draft in 2024, or I think people's expectations coming into last year of Franklin were a little unfair because he was ultimately a 4th-round rookie, and that was 32 NFL teams deciding that he was a 4th-round prospect, despite the fact that he was mocked in the first, second round in those 2024 mock drafts. But overall, he has not been very good. If you just look at anything, I see poor routes, I see poor strength. I see poor ball tracking, all things that he did a very good job with in the first month of the season, but it seems like it's all just falling apart right now, and I don't understand. We'd be so cracked if we had any of those receivers. Yeah, we would. I definitely want to see more Pat Bryant. Dude, me too. Like, Pat Bryant is earning his way onto the field. Everyone like and subscribe. Yes, everybody please do so. Everybody please like and subscribe because, I don't know, I love when I get to interact with y'all. Casey Concepcion would be a great pick, especially. Yeah, he would fit our offense really well in that regard. But they did capitalize on his value in the Saints trade. Like, I did not think his intrinsic value was a 4th-round pick, but hey, the Saints disagreed with me, and they're a bad organization that doesn't draft well and does not know how to properly value assets. But I'm in your boat too. Like, I don't not regret the trade, but man, this offense really misses him. And Vele has done literally nothing since going to New Orleans, so that doesn't tell me that he's an exceptionally talented football player. But wait, hold on. Let me pull up Vele. Let me pull this up. Yeah, he has 54 receiving yards in 2025 so far. I don't know why they traded for him, honestly. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Pat Bryant will be wide receiver 2. Everyone else will put on meaningful contributions. I mean, he's earned that chance. Like, if he keeps balling out and keeps blocking the way he has, then yeah. Some of the screens work, but I've been waiting for someone to jump one for a big 6. That would be awful. That would truly be our worst case scenario. Like, some of the screens work too, but again, it's just a mess. Like, even when the screens work and Trent Sherfield's blocking a guy, Troy Franklin runs right into the dude. So yeah. He did. Yeah, man, the guy's done nothing but produce. Agreed. Where has Sutton been? He's been absent the past 2 games. He has just been, I don't know. The Broncos offense has been super, super, super weird. Like, he obviously had that big catch against Houston or whatever, but yeah, man, it's bad. It's bad. Bryant, oh man. Bryant, future wide receiver 2. Yes, agreed. The question for me, like, okay, I get what you're saying, CTOD Ghost, but one went in the early 3rd round, one went in the 7th round. Like, no duh. Pat Bryant's going to be better than Vele, especially when, Vele was an old prospect. He didn't have enough time, or he had less of a leash to develop. And I'm not surprised that Bryant is better. That being said, like, I do think Vele and what he brought to this offense has been missing this year. Not to say that it would fix us. Like, the struggles are definitely independent of him, but yeah, no. I get what you're saying too. They wanted to give Tyler Shuck some weapons, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess Chris Olave wasn't good enough, and then they traded Rashid Shaheed too, so Vele is going to be the wide receiver 2 in New Orleans, assuming Bub Means does not keep getting some run. Bryant led the Broncos with 43 yards against the Raiders, by the way. Vele got 54 on the whole season. Yeah, that basically says it all. And they still traded that guy who went in the 7th and was going on 27 for a top 100 pick. Yeah, that was bad. Like, the Saints, if you're in the Saints position right now, you can't be giving any draft capital away. You can't. But I don't know. They just decided to do that for whatever reason. And yeah. Are you guys enjoying watching me clean my ears? I hope you guys. I'm loving talking football with y'all, but okay, I'm done cleaning my ears. Sorry, I'm not gonna just keep being weird on camera. Yeah, but a lot of people talk about Vele like, again, he was not going to be the end all be all solution for this offense. Like, we have just had so many problems this year that we would have had regardless of if Vele was on this team or not. Like, he is not a game changer. He was a solid player, but he is not a game changer. And yeah, he was a solid player for us. Like, I remember particular in the Raiders game last year, he was awesome, but he played really, really bad in the wild card game against Buffalo. He had 2 third-down drops. So, man, now the thing is, I just don't know how to get Bo back to that level of. Oh shit! Where's my cat? Where is my cat? Oh, I thought he was right here. Oh no, I was laying on my phone. The thing I think that is sort of crazy is that both of our running backs have more receiving yards than our receivers, and some of that does fall on Sean Payton. Dobbins, I agree with. Bade Day, I agree with. Harvey, I don't agree with because like that was what they drafted him for. But I get what you're saying. Like they should. Like some guys just haven't been producing as receivers, and that's bad. Trent move this offseason was just dumb. I mean, it looks pretty dumb right now. Like I got it at the time, but Trent Sherfield has added nothing to this offense. Like he has probably been the worst player on this team, in my opinion. Vele is not trash by any means, but he's like, yeah, like I think he's a higher end jag. Like he's just a guy. He's useful. He had good hands, reliable hands for the most part last year. He, was a nice security blanket for Bo Nix. Like you guys forget that week 1 against Seattle, he was our leading target getter, and then he got hurt. Which, I mean, having him be the wide receiver 1 is pathetic on so many levels, especially as a 7th round pick in his first game. But he was a very reliable contributor for us. But yeah, the Trent Sherfield move, like he's been terrible. Like they had to get Lil Jordan Humphrey back because honestly, Trent Sherfield has been so bad. Yeah, like this is why I'm not entirely on board with saying that the running backs having that many more yards than our receivers is that bad, especially when, we rely so heavily on throwing to our running backs. So, yeah, definitely needs the 49ers receivers, not as a wide receiver. And also they, they haven't had Pierce all year. They don't have Ayuk still. Jennings, I don't know, but Kittle also has been hurt all year. And, I mean, he is their number 1 target, but still. Describing a unicorn, fully aware. Yeah, CMC is a unicorn, but but I get where you were headed. Like, I agree with your sentiment that if a guy's good at catching the football, even as a running back, it's not because it doesn't say anything about the receivers. It says more about the running back. I'm so excited for this Sunday. Any other predictions on the Chiefs game? I don't think we win. That's my only prediction is I don't think we win. But for some reason, I'm so optimistic heading into this game that I just maybe I just think that we're going to dominate them and then just somehow lose. I can't explain how I feel, but I think we're going to play really well. Sean Payton said we're going to be ready, and I have no reason to doubt him. We will be ready. I think most people are, especially because, like I said in my notes, Surtain and Dobbins did not practice again. John Franklin Myers added to the injury report. Yeah, that's just how I'm feeling about that. I'm going to turn my stream on my TV so I get an extra viewer, but I think they'll win, but it'll be a 1-score game. Hey, dude, if they can win, and I don't care if the score is 2-0, I don't care if the score is 51-50. The only thing I'll be talking about after the game is a win. Also, you want to hear something funny? Like some guy in my TikTok comments said that I am like overwhelmingly negative. Actually, you guys want to go through my TikTok comments real quick? Hold on. Just in case you guys don't know, most of my Broncos stuff is on TikTok. Hold on. This might be funny if I can get it. Okay. Okay, I made this TikTok about Lil Jordan Humphrey coming back to the team, and that's a really unflattering, freeze frame of me. All right. So, you guys should look at these TikTok comments. Oh my God, yeah. Maybe Bo just confuses Chris Jones the way T-Law did on Monday Night Football. Yeah, maybe. Either way, I'm going to turn off my comments on the screen real quick. Either way, follow me on TikTok if you guys don't already, because that's the primary source of my stuff. Like I started off on YouTube primarily, but all the shorts you guys see, I also post on TikTok, and there's a much more active community over there. So go check me out. Either way, Chiefs been trash this year, yes, but they can always come alive. Like with Mahomes and Reed, you're never out of it. I agree they haven't been as dangerous as they normally have, but they played a lot of tough games, and they're still a pretty dangerous team. I'm going to throw my phone through the wall if this happens. Like I'm one of those people that I'm not too excited about Will Jordan Humphrey coming back because I didn't like watching him, what he did last year. If he gets enough targets to get 65 yards, I mean, If he got 65 yards, without looking, I'm pretty sure that would be our highest total since the Dallas game. But I don't agree with funneling our offense through him. Like, enough targets to get 65 yards, I'd be pretty upset if I'd be pretty upset if we threw it to him a lot. That's all I'm going to say. Either way, check out my TikTok comments. Like, this guy hates Riley Moss. He says, I made a video about Will Jordan Humphrey. He said, "Oh, you say this, but defends Riley Moss when he gets burnt toast once a week." And then I was like, "That's funny." Someone said the GOAT is back. I responded with the GOAT of fumbling. Yeah. What's it called? I think Court, Troy, Mims, 13. I like your reporting on this, very concise. This was funny because, yeah, 100%. Lil Jordan haters, yeah. But there's somebody who said, man, you're so negative. Like, hold on. You're always so negative last year. And I said, man, he played well last year, but cry more. I'm here to provide analysis, not confirmation bias. They have a top 3 EPA next to the Cowboys and Colts. Are you talking about Chiefs? Are you talking about Chiefs offense or defense or both? Yeah. I think the Broncos defense was able to tee off on Dallas, though, because the Dallas defense could not keep up with our offense at all. It's so dumb that the Giants game when the Broncos started scoring, I was literally thinking, don't give me false hope. Then we won. I was at that game, and I had the same thoughts. Like, hold on, you want to see this? You want to see this? This was my view when we won. When we won the football game. Hold on. There we go. This was my view on the field after we won the football. We won against the Giants. I would be too. He'd get targeted less than Sutton. Dude, if Lil Jordan Humphrey gets like 8 targets and Sutton gets 2, I'm going to be really, really mad on Sunday. I'm confident in the defense. The reason I'm not is because we don't have Surtain. Like, obviously, we get up against Kansas City. We always play them tough. We always will, no matter who the quarterback is for them, no matter who the defensive coordinator for us is. We always bring it against Patrick Mahomes, and we always get up for that. And it's one of the best games in the NFL. But yeah, I won't stop believing. Yeah, I agree. Agreed, Judah. Yes, hey, you don't need to apologize for lack of specifics. It takes 2 seconds for me to ask you to clarify. So if I need clarification, I could just be like, hey, man, what do you mean? And then, yeah, I appreciate you, though. I appreciate you clarifying. But yes, the Chiefs offense. Okay. I think a lot of that from the Cowboys game was due to the fact that the Dallas defense couldn't keep up with our offense. And you put a lot of pressure on the Dallas offense to make something happen. I don't think it's going to be as easy this time around, but yeah. My brother has season tickets right by the tunnel. Oh my God, that's sick, dude. That is sick. Is your brother like super rich? Have season tickets been in your family for like 50 years or whatever? But I didn't think we would come back until Kevin Harlan was commentating. You know what's funny about Kevin Harlan commentating? We always lose when he's commentating. So luckily I was at the stadium, and I think because I did not have to hear his voice on TV, I think that's why we won that football game. And you guys forget, I think a lot of people forget, the Giants were really hot coming into that game. Like probably the hottest 2-4, 2-5 team I've ever seen. But yeah, wait, hold on. What else was I going to show you guys? Either way, follow me on TikTok because this is primarily where most of my stuff is. I forgot what I was going to show you guys because it was funny. I already showed you guys the Lil Jordan Humphrey stuff. Wait, you want to see the comments after the Raiders game, actually? All right, I had 163 comments. So if you want to argue with people at the end of these games, go to my TikTok. No, not super rich, but I've had tickets for 33 years. We are lucky, man. Last I checked, 15-year waiting list for season tickets. Yeah, I'm lucky too because, hold on, I'm going to show you my views of these games. So this is 135, row 19. These have been in my family. I don't know how long, but we've had those same tickets. Like, I remember those tickets were ours in the Super Bowl 50 years. So me and my dad, or my dad keeps reviewing them. But yeah. Hold on. Sorry, I keep the audio keeps being really annoying. But these are our tickets. Okay. Oh my God. Finally, I can turn my sound off. All right. Yeah. So these are our seats. These are what our seats look like. 135. If you're ever at a game and you want to say what's up to me, go check me out. And now the Giants are 2-8, and can their coach? Yeah. And part of this is because Scadaboo got hurt. Like, he was that offense before he got hurt. And obviously they lost Neighbors, but the Giants' head coaching spot is going to be really attractive. And that defense is chips. It's terrible. Yeah, they literally just came off a mini bye week, beating the Eagles on primetime. Yeah, of course. And, that was big. That was big too. Shout out Cody X Pops. Oh, yeah. Blowing the lead against us and Scatterbit. Yeah. Both these completely destroyed our momentum. Crazy fact, longest running sold out stadium in NFL history. We've had no shows, but every ticket has been. Yeah, I know. And when we do like the guess the attendance thing on whatever, when they do the guess the attendance at the game, and everybody's like, oh, there's blah blah no shows. Everybody's like, boo. That's always so funny, but yeah, sellout streak is crazy, and we've seen some shitty football since then, and it's amazing that we still have a season ticket wait list that long. Maybe I should get on the season ticket wait list because my dad's like 60, so I don't have to worry about anything happening to him anytime soon, but you never know. I wish we took Scadaboo low key. I mean, he would have been fun. He would have been a lot of fun. The other thing is, like, I don't know. The thing about Scadaboo that was so divisive for people is, like, where does he actually play, fullback or running back? And a lot of people were just like, all right. And you're seeing that he is an ultra physical player that is probably not going to hold up well in the NFL because he runs like he is Marshawn Lynch. Okay. And you just got to be objective. Like, he's not a big guy either, like, particularly. So, yeah. It would have been a lot of fun, too. He would have had Scat on a leash. I mean, if he was running as well as he did on the Giants, that'd be funny. Or maybe he was on a leash. Also, I'm going to show you guys something that I was a prophet when it came to Cam Scadaboo, because I saw Cam Scadaboo's I saw a run he had, and I commented. Hold on. Look. All right, ready for this? December 18th, 2018. Scadaboo had not gone to Arizona State yet. And hold on. Scadaboo was still at Sacramento State when this happened, and I commented, boom, right here 3 years ago. Before Scadaboo was known, before Scadaboo had been like a name in the NFL draft community, I commented 3 years ago on this run that Cam Scadaboo had on, and you guys should watch this run. It's absolutely filthy. So I'm a Cam Scadaboo prophet. I just want to show you guys this. Yeah. Like, this was just absolutely crazy. Man, that was insane. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys that because that was, I feel like I'm a prophet when it comes to Cam Scadaboo. Cam Scadaboo was here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. And unfortunately, you're now seeing his body pay the reparations of that and pay the damages. So yeah. I'm going to comment on 100 high school running backs now. You should. And the way I was able to find Scadaboo was I looked at like the PFF missed tackles forced leaders in all of NCAA in 2021, I believe. And Scadaboo was on that list, or he had like 7 yards after contact per attempt, which imagine being a FCS defender and trying to tackle Cam Scadaboo. But I was like, who is this guy? So I Googled him, and then I was like, oh my goodness, he's like actually really good. High school scout was crazy. Dude, imagine trying to tackle him after a long day of algebra. So you're in SoCal, I assume. Because I know Scadaboo is from like Rio something, and Rio anything is basically California. Yeah, that performance he had against Texas last year was nuts. Like, literally took the game over. Honestly, had Arizona State not completely blew it on like that 4th and 14 or whatever, they should have made the Final Four. Dude, I know. Oh my God. I get so sad whenever I think about rookie Javonte and him like being the missed tackles force leader. Like he was so good. He's from Sacramento area. Okay, so you're from NorCal. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, Sacramento's like a desert, isn't it? Maybe I should go visit. I've heard Chico is pretty cool, the university. But yeah. So that performance, I do want to hone in on this. Like, wait, hold on. Let's go back to what he did against versus Texas. All right. 141 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 86 receiving yards, a 42-yard passing touchdown, and 2-point conversion. He was visibly sick on the sidelines, vomiting profusely during the game, but rejoining the game to lead a comeback attempt. Man, oh man. I don't want to play this, but I wish I could play the videos, but man, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. Oh, he's from SoCal, but went to Sacramento State. Okay, he went to Sacramento State. All right, that makes sense. Javonte first year was awesome. He literally got 15. Dude, I know. It's so sad what was taken away from us. Like, oh my God. I'm happy he's had a good year with the Cowboys, but still, something was taken away from us. He also threw a 50-yard bomb. Yeah, he did. I don't know how he went down the Cam Scatterby rabbit hole, but your comments are back on my screen, by the way. But yeah, overall, a lot of people are talking about like when Scatterby was really hot, a lot of people were just like, oh, we should have taken him over RJ Harvey. And I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like, obviously it's tough the way things turned out. And obviously you're pretty happy with how Scatterby has looked so far if you're the Giants. But, he's still a guy who plays very reckless. And honestly, I feel like with a small running back, he is not going to hold up in the NFL. Like, he runs like he is Marshawn Lynch. Wait, so what is his stature? I feel like he's like 5'8", 215. Okay. Oh, he's 5'11", 215. Either way, I just never felt like Scatterby would hold up that well because of what he did. You said SoCal. I was like, no. No, you're good. All good. Yeah, I agree. Scat in the second round when, people have questions about where he was going to line up, if he'd even be a running back in the NFL. Questions about his long-term durability. And a lot of people have questions about his ceiling, but I don't care about his ceiling when his floor looks that good. 5'11", 215, he's a bowling ball. He is a bowling ball. My cat's right next to me. He's sleeping right now, but yeah. Yeah, Scat in the second would have been a reach. Like, hold on. I agree. Let me check to see where he was mocked around draft time. I'm going to go on the NFL mock database. Because, wait, why can't I find him on the NFL mock draft database? Here we go. Cameron Scatterby. All right. So his mock range was 91. So yeah. And he never ever got close to in the second round. Even during when he had gone ham in the playoff run or whatever. Somebody had the Chiefs taking him at 31. Somebody had the Steelers taking him at 21 by PFF, which man, oh man. But credit to all these Giants beat reporters. They had him, they had them going to the Giants in the third round. So congrats to him. Shout out to John Heath. He clearly had an eye for talent, in the Broncos wire. But yeah, I can't believe I'm back on this site this early. Yeah, if you have any, think about it now, we still have Harvey healthy. I wasn't expecting us to get Harvey, but yeah, man, I was one of those guys that RJ Harvey kind of did pass me by during the draft process because I was like, man, he's a 24-year-old. But when I saw how explosive he was at UCF, I was like, we got a gamer. Genty should have been late to mid to late first round. I still think as a prospect, he was good enough to warrant that. Now, obviously, you look at, team fit and whatever, and obviously the Raiders taking him was really, really stupid. But I think that says more about them than it does about the player. I think if you had seen him on the Bears, the conversation would have been a lot different. But second round would have been way early. Yeah, I'm glad we're all in agreement there. But Genty, the question with him was never the talent. It was always, what's worth it and what's not. And the problem with Genty is that man, he's such a good player. He really is a good player. Like, the fact that he's had a poor year with the Raiders so far, it doesn't discourage me from that. But yeah, no, if you're going to take a running back that high, you got to make sure you have infrastructure. And it was a bad pick by the Raiders. And shout out to them. I said that they were going to, whatever. RJ Harvey passed us because he didn't really block. I call him the Timu Genty. Honestly, he was Timu Genty because if you look at runs of 10 yards or more as prospects, you should, what's it called? Hold on. There's like a really good tweet I found comparing Genty and Harvey as prospects, and I can't find them for whatever reason. I can't find them. I can't find it. Okay. Genty and Harvey. Man, why can I not find this tweet? Why can I not find this tweet? I'm really trying to find like the... Okay. Genty, Harvey. Okay. Yeah, no, I can't find it, but it was a really good tweet comparing Genty and Harvey. Genty on the Cowboys, yeah. Genty on the Cowboys would have been sexual. Only true revisionist history if you had gone with Henderson at 20, maybe taking Fannin at 60 and Bryant at 74, then a different player 101 to Savion, who knows? Yeah, like I still think a running back in the first round is just not that good of value. Like, Henderson obviously looks good, but corner is just exponentially more valuable. Like, I still think you could have just, if you really wanted him that bad, you should have taken the Giants straight back, because it would have solved all the problems in the draft of, mid-round depth and whatever. Timu Genty, that's funny. T-Fishes, I'm going to start calling him that. I'm going to start calling RJ Harvey Timu Genty because that was funny. I wanted Henderson or Hampton at 20. I was disappointed when we drafted Jade. If we were to go with a running back there, I wanted Hampton. I thought he had a better chance of being a bell cow, but I didn't really want a running back at 20. I thought since the class was so stacked at running back, and listen, running back, like, obviously talent matters, but it's still so dependent on everything else that I'm not a running backs don't matter guy, but I am all right, we could have gone elsewhere with the pick. And honestly, I wanted us to go Ibuka. I wanted us to go Derek Harmon, so maybe I can't speak on it. The picture I saw of Harvey, his legs are massive. Yeah, he's a well-built guy. So, a lot of people, you talk about 5'8", 207. He's built, he's stocky or whatever. Yeah, they were calling him Quadzilla. I was okay not taking Hampton at 20. I was too. Like, I was okay with passing on him. Now, what really sucked was when the Chargers got him. Like, that's what really sucked. But I didn't think Hampton was like some can't-miss prospect. I didn't think he was like some guaranteed smash hit at the running back position. Albeit, I thought he could be a true three-down guy. I thought he had the size. I thought he had everything. But I wasn't like pounding the table for him. But if we were to go with a running back at 20, I did want Hampton. Now that Trevion Henderson is getting the workload, he is popping big plays. I feel like RJ Harvey will do the same with J.K. Dobbins out. You know what, man? It's time will tell, because if RJ Harvey can pop those big plays, that would be so amazing for this offense. Quadzilla. Oh, yeah, T-Fishes. RJ Harvey is Quadzilla. It's really bothering me that I can't find this tweet because it was such a good tweet that indicated what I was trying to say. RJ Harvey breakaway. Oh man, why is the Twitter search bar so bad? I wanted Egbuka, Jihad Campbell, or Malachi Starks. I would have been happy with Golden 2. Dude, if we had taken Malachi Starks, this fan base would have rioted. I respect the boldness, but yeah. Jihad Campbell looks like a stud, so shout out to you for that. Igbuka sounds like a stud. Man, the Broncos got to hire you for the scouting department. I mean, Golden hasn't really done much, but who knows if things were different here. I think it is my time to wrap this up. Either way, this has been so much fun. And when I see you guys tomorrow, I'm going to have a new camera. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night, Friday, November 14th. I'll do it after work. I work from like 5 to, I'm in a restaurant, so I'll be out probably 9:30, 10 Mountain Standard Time. Either way, thank you for the super chat. What's it called again? Faded Wolf. Thank you for the super chat, CTOD Ghost. Y'all make this worth it. And I'm just really happy that I can, do what I love and just talk Broncos with y'all. And we're building a great community here. So, if you guys are watching this long on the replay, it just probably means that your TV was still on and you did something else or fell asleep or whatever. But yeah, man, overall, I'm really, really excited about this game that's upcoming. And overall, I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate y'all. Once again, huge shout out to T Fishes. Yeah, I'm glad you caught the live too. I was sad you weren't able to last night, but I love it when y'all give your insights because it's what makes this go. CTOD Ghost, Faded Wolf, great to see you. Son of Judah, 2002. All right, man, this was fun. Yeah, man. And then there was another guy in here too. I think his name was TW, who was in here too. And then there was somebody else who was in here a lot last night that I saw that I wanted to shout out, but Chris Henry. All right. Another 2002 kid. Either way, I'll see you guys next time. Mile High Salute and peace.